How ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View they likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show.
The clash between Karoline Leavitt and Whoopi Goldberg wasn't just another heated debate, it was an absolute annihilation. Leavitt didn't just challenge Whoopi, she obliterated her argument, leaving The View co-hosts speechless and scrambling for a response. The moment was so intense that social media exploded, with people across the country taking sides. But one thing was crystal clear: Leavitt came to win. From the moment Leavitt stepped onto the stage, the tension in the room was undeniable. Whoopi, as usual, was ready to shut down her guest with the same tired tactics she's used for years. But this time, she picked the wrong person to mess with. Karoline was prepared for battle, armed with facts, unshakable confidence, and a fearless attitude that immediately put Whoopi on the defensive. Right out of the gate, Whoopi attempted to corner Leavitt with her usual leftist rhetoric, trying to paint her as out of touch with modern women. But within seconds, Leavitt flipped the entire conversation on its head. Whoopi, so used to steamrolling her conservative guests, was suddenly the one grasping for words. The audience could feel the shift in power. As the debate escalated, Whoopi's frustration became obvious. She had relied on the same media narratives for so long that she wasn't prepared for someone like Leavitt, someone who could take every one of her weak arguments and tear them to shreds in real time. The other co-hosts on The View tried to jump in and back Whoopi up, but it was too late. Leavitt had already taken control, and there was nothing they could do to stop her. Whoopi, desperate for a way to turn the tables, then tried something truly shameful. She attempted to shame Leavitt for being a working mother, questioning whether she should be balancing a high-profile job while raising a child. It was a move so hypocritical, so laughably desperate, that even some in the audience seemed stunned by it. But Leavitt didn't.
This is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes. He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
Lynch. She was ready for this nonsense. So, let me get this straight. Leavitt shot back, her voice calm but cutting. The same people who constantly say women can have it all are now trying to tell me that I can't balance my career and my family. The View panel was shook. Whoopi had no real response, just an awkward silence before she quickly tried to change the subject. But there was no escaping what had just happened. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's continue. The hypocrisy was laid bare for everyone to see. The same women who preach about female empowerment were now attacking Leavitt for daring to be both a mother and a successful professional. It was a complete self-own, and the internet wasn't about to let them forget it. Within minutes, clips of the exchange were going viral, with thousands calling out The View for their blatant double standards. But Whoopi wasn't done embarrassing herself just yet. With nothing else left, she resorted to outright mocking Leavitt's role in the White House, trying to discredit her as just another Trump staffer. It was the last trick in the book, and everyone saw it coming. But once again, Leavitt was 10 steps ahead. "I actually do my job," she said with a smirk, sending shockwaves through the audience. "Unlike your friends in the White House, I don't need a binder full of scripted answers to speak the truth." The crowd gasped. It was a brutal, undeniable fact, and Whoopi knew it. The Biden administration has been a disaster when it comes to transparency and media access, and Leavitt wasn't about to let that slide. By this point, Whoopi was visibly flustered. She had nothing left but eye rolls and weak deflections. She knew she had lost the battle, but Leavitt wasn't done yet. She had one final truth bomb to drop, and when she did, the entire internet exploded. "The real reason you don't like me," Leavitt declared, staring Whoopi down, "is because I refuse to play by your rules. I won't bow down to the media elite, and I certainly won't let you tell me what I can and can't do as a conservative woman." Boom. Game over. Whoopi had been completely destroyed, and she knew it. The panel on The View sat in stunned silence, their usual smug expressions replaced with sheer disbelief. They had never been dismantled like this on live television before. It was a moment of complete domination, and social media was eating it up. Viewers from all across the political spectrum weighed in, many admitting that, even if they didn't always agree with Leavitt, they couldn't deny that she had owned the debate. Within hours, the internet was flooded with clips of the exchange. Memes popped up mocking Whoopi's meltdown, and conservative commentators celebrated Leavitt's fearless performance. It wasn't just a win. It was a humiliation for The View. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's continue. And yet, rather than admit defeat, the show's co-hosts doubled down. The next day, they tried to spin the entire incident, acting as if Leavitt was just some far-right extremist who had come on the show to stir up controversy. But nobody was buying it. The footage was out there for the world to see, and the facts spoke for themselves. It was clear. Whoopi had nothing on Karoline Leavitt. Every attack she had tried failed miserably. Every narrative she pushed was turned against her. And every desperate attempt to regain control only made her look weaker. Leavitt had walked into enemy territory and walked out completely victorious. The meltdown on The View wasn't just about one heated exchange. It was a symbol of something much bigger. It exposed the left's hypocrisy when it comes to women in politics. They claim to support strong women, but the moment a conservative woman steps up and refuses to conform to their rules, they tear her down. And this is exactly why Leavitt won. Not just the debate, but the entire conversation. She wasn't just defending herself. She was standing up for every woman who has been told she can't succeed because she doesn't fit the left's pre-approved mold. This wasn't just another political debate. It was a full-blown reckoning. Leavitt didn't just push back. She completely shattered the narrative that the left owns feminism.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
She exposed their fake activism, their performative outrage, and their complete lack of real respect for women who think differently. And the best part? She did it all with grace, confidence, and pure facts. No screaming, no theatrics, just pure domination. Meanwhile, Whoopi and her co-hosts were left floundering, desperately trying to regain control of a conversation that had already slipped through their fingers. This moment will go down as one of the most brutal takedowns in The View's history. Karoline Leavitt walked onto that stage as a guest and walked off as a legend. The mainstream media can try to spin it however they want, but the truth is undeniable. Leavitt completely destroyed Whoopi Goldberg on live TV, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. As the dust settled, Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts were left in shambles. They had expected the usual routine: bring on a conservative guest, gang up on them, and dominate the conversation. But Karoline Leavitt had flipped the script, and now they were the ones drowning in their own contradictions. Whoopi, still trying to save face, attempted to regain control of the discussion. But it was too late. The audience had already seen the reality. Leavitt wasn't some flustered guest trying to defend herself. She was in command, and no amount of damage control could erase that. Meanwhile, social media erupted. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube were flooded with clips of the exchange, each one racking up millions of views. The responses were brutal. Whoopi got wrecked on her own show, one user posted. Another added, Leavitt came in prepared and left zero survivors. The left's attempt to smear her had backfired spectacularly. Even mainstream media outlets were forced to acknowledge what had happened. Some tried to spin the narrative, claiming that Leavitt had been aggressive or disrespectful. But the footage told a different story, one of a calm, confident woman standing up for herself and refusing to be bullied by the media elites. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's continue. At this point, Whoopi and the rest of The View had one move left: damage control. The very next day, they took to the airwaves attempting to rewrite history. They accused Leavitt of causing division and played the victim, pretending that they had been ambushed by her strong responses. But nobody was buying it. The audience had seen the truth, and no amount of spin could erase the absolute destruction that had unfolded before their eyes. Karoline Leavitt didn't just walk away from that interview victorious, she walked away stronger than ever. Overnight, she became a symbol of resilience, proof that conservatives could fight back against the biased media and win. Her performance on The View wasn't just a takedown of Whoopi Goldberg, it was a message to the entire mainstream media. The days of silencing conservative voices through intimidation and smear tactics were over. There was a new generation of leaders, and they weren't going to play by the old rules. And while Whoopi and her co-hosts licked their wounds, Karoline Leavitt continued on, completely unbothered, with her reputation stronger than ever. She had taken on The View and won, not just for herself, but for every conservative woman who refuses to be silenced. This wasn't just another TV debate. It was a defining moment.